Santosh Kumar. He has started his career as a company secretary in a big listed company for 6 years, having in charge of secretarial and legal department of the company. Further joined Indian Corporate Law Service in the batch of 1993. Currently holding the position of Regional Director, Western Region, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and administrating the Companies Act 2013 and Limited Liability Partnership Act for Maharashtra, Goa, Daman and Diu. As an ICLS officer of the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, held various significant roles including Assistant Registrar of Companies in Karnataka, Central Registrar for LLP, Joint Director, Registrar of Companies in different regions such as Chandigarh, Punjab and Delhi. Also served as a Regional Director, Northeast Region, Guwahati, Regional Director, Northwestern Region. Member of the delisting committee of BSc, NSc, MSc, as a MCA nominee and government nominee of WRIC ICSI. Implemented LLP Act 2008 through Central Registry on behalf of MCA on all India basis. Served as chairman, member of various committees constituted by MCA on company law and LLP Act matters. With this, please give him a round of applause for his undeniable achievements. We would like to present him a memento from the side of Institute. My co-host, Ms. Hansa, and Mr. Sailesh Haribhakti ji, please could you help us? He's the past chairman to give him to present him the memento from ICAI. We'll just take 1 minute to click quickly some pictures. Thank you. I would like to invite Mr. Shri Santosh Kumar over the dais, please, to address the crowd and give your insights.
CA Hari Bhakti ji, CA Hansa Raja, CA Jain ma'am, and participant joining this event, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to everybody. Before I start, I would like to thank to WIRC for inviting me on this occasion to share the MCA views and to also get the suggestions needed for changes and amendment in the CSR rule in order to get the effective implementation and the need of the corporates and the professionals to implement in a better way to achieve the objective of the legislature. Sir, the corporate social responsibility is a self-regulating business model that helps a company be socially accountable to itself, stakeholders and public, in which companies operates in a way that enhances the society environment, which create a positive brand image for the companies. The concept of the CSR, not new in India, it stems from historical texts such as Vedic philosophy, which advocates that wealth should be used for the benefit of the all. Further, the idea of Gandhiji trusteeship philosophy stated that surplus wealth need to be kept in trust for the common good and welfare of the others. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has acknowledged this culture in India and has proactive in formulating CSR ecosystem in the country, which makes corporates an active participant in socio-economic development of the nation. India is the first country in the world to make CSR mandatory for the companies through statutory provision under the Companies Act 2013. The government provides board framework of the CSR through Section 135 of the Companies Act, Schedule 7 of the Act, and the Companies CSR Rule 2014. Schedule 6 of the Act aligns the CSR activities with the national priorities like health, education, livelihood, water conservation, and natural resource management. The law mandates certain companies having net worth of rupees 5,500 or more, or turnover 1,000 crore or more, or net profit of rupees 5 crore or more in immediately preceding financial year to undertake CSR activities as per Schedule 7 and CSR policy rules. CSR is a broad-based, board-driven process empowering the board and CSR committee of the companies to plan, execute, monitor CSR activities by impact assessment of the CSR activities. CSR ecosystem has engaged the corporates to contribute and spend its 2% of the average profit made during last 3 immediately preceding years towards the social development initiative in the country. The companies are no longer just contributing a percentage of their profit towards the CSR obligation. Rather, they are sharing their resources such as leadership, managerial skill, technology, innovation, and are proactive in engaging the community at the grassroots level. Hence, CSR is no longer perceived as an act of the charity or voluntary support to the society. Today, it forms an integral part of the company's business philosophy. If we talk about the key achievement since inception of this CSR provision, so since 2014 to 22-23 financial year, the companies has spent around 1 crore 84,000 crores in a different activities as prescribed under Schedule 7 of the Companies Act. Number of companies contributing to CSR as well as their annual expenditure have constantly increased during period from 14-15 to 22-23, because I have data up to 22-23. In 22-23, alone 24,000 companies spent about 30,000 crores on the CSR activities. Out of that expenditure, highest expenditure and allocation is in the education sector for rupees 10,000 crore, healthcare followed with the expenditure around 6,800 crore, while environment initiative allocation of approximately 3,000 crore, reflecting a strong focus on these critical area of the development. The CSR evoked enormous stakeholder interest and feedback since introduction, and the government has been proactive in taking various initiatives to strengthen the CSR ecosystem. Some of these are: 2 high-level committees were constituted on CSR in 2015 and 2018. Both committees have made far-reaching recommendations which have shaped the legislative framework and strengthened the CSR ecosystem. In 2018, the National CSR Data Portal was launched for ensuring the accountability and transparency in CSR disclosure by the companies. In 2021, a class of the companies has been mandated to carry out the impact assessment of their CSR practice. The purpose of the impact assessment is to social impact of the particular CSR project. This will encourage the company to take informed decision before the deploying their CSR fund. This will not only serve as feedback for the companies to plan and allocate resources in a better way, but shall also deepen the impact of the CSR. MCA has developed a national CSR exchange portal in the year of 2021. This portal provides an interactive platform to the stakeholder and the implementing agency to bridge the demand supply by facilitating interaction between the stakeholder. The companies and implementing agencies can list, search, interact, engage, and manage their CSR project on voluntary basis. So now the implementing agency located in far off states can reach out to the companies by using the exchange portal. Further, the PM internship scheme announced in the recent budget creates opportunity for the private-public collaboration, enabling the companies and the government to partner the impactful outcome by skilling the youth for national building to make them employable. The scheme aims for training of 1 crore youth in the 5 year in top 500 companies by contributing rupees 4,500 per month and 6,000 on joining internship with the company from the government side, and rupees 500 per month to be contributed by the company from the CSR budget for capacity building of the youth by sharing their resources and training facility of the company. In this regard, it is also clarified from the ministry कि while implementing the Prime Minister Internship Relief, Prime Minister Internship Scheme, the government is making 4,500 contribution for 1 year to the candidate and 6,000 rupees at the time of the joining, and only 500 rupees required to be spent by the company from the CSR fund. And it is clarified in this regard, if the company is giving apart from the 500 cash, they can allow to make expenditure, they can claim in the PLN account, but it is not admissible as a CSR expenditure. However, if you are making any training expenses, hostel expense, providing hostel facility, providing food facility during the working hour, all these facilities are already allowed under the skilling of youth in the Schedule 7, which will be kept on your booking in the CSR expenditure. And since this PMIS scheme is a recent budget announcement and ministry is fully engaged in implementation of this scheme, so wherever being a member of ICI and advisor to your company, if such scheme, such type of thing comes to your knowledge, then my clarification is 500 can be booked as a CSR expenditure. Any additional amount in cash payment to the candidate can be booked in PLN account but cannot be claimed as CSR expenditure. However, you are allowed to make any expenses towards training, food facility, stay facility, that expenses can be booked as a CSR expenses. And my request is any clarification, any suggestion if you have in the CSR, relating to the CSR rules, you kindly convey during the interaction or participation in today workshop through ICAI, and I will collect your suggestion for giving to the ministry for consideration, because I have come today just to invite various suggestions from the stakeholder and to convey to ministry, so that the CSR policy and law position should be simpler, as you feel that it is very easy to implement in a very transparent manner to achieve the objective of the legislature. MCA has been proactive in enhancing the impactful CSR expenditure. However, initiatives by the government are only successful if they are adopted in a letter and spirit by the stakeholder. In the background, I wish to congratulate the companies and professionals who are actively adopted CSR framework in its letter and spirit and included it as a part of their business philosophy. It is with immense pride and honor I am able to say that many companies are making contribution in excess of the mandatory 2% obligation and have thus taken an active part in contributing toward the socio-economic development of the country. Lastly, I wish to add that the government is cognizant that companies and business have assumed a central role in, attend, in attaining our development goal, and MCA will continue to strive towards providing an enabling environment for Indian companies to keep up the spirit of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Thank you.
I think that was very lovely, Santosh Kumarji. Thank you for sparing some time out from your busy schedule to connect the members so that they can help their clients to bridge to understand what are the initiatives of the ministry to probably gap on how the ministry is taking ahead the steps and wherein we all can help our clients and help ourselves to know and get the knowledge about to get proper use of it. Thank you so much. I think please give him a round of applause. Now, I would like to begin with our session today, which will be taken by our very special guest, Sailesh Haribhakti ji. I think we all know who is he. I would just briefly introduce him today. Sailesh Haribhakti is a figure in the corporate landscape revered as a serial innovator and a global citizen, advocating the philosophy of Vasudhavi Kutumbakam, the world in a family, in one family. His illustrations career encompasses roles as a chartered and a cost accountant, certified internal auditor, financial planner, fraud examiner. Beyond his impressive credentials, he is recognized as a transformative leader, serving as a board chairman, audit committee chairperson, and independent director at several of the nation's leading organizations. Vanguard in environmental, social, and governance initiatives, Mr. Haribhakti has introduced groundbreaking concepts like integrated reporting and paths to achieving net zero. His efforts have earned him the Global Competent Boards designation and the Vivekanand Sustainability Award in 2022, along with an honorary Doctor of Letters from ITM University. Across all initiatives, he champions sustainable value creation, environmental stewardship, and exponential technologies. His leadership extends to major CSR, ESG, and sustainability committees where he is spearheading Innovate 2.0. Another cause that finds a special place in his heart is cleaning all of the Indian water bodies, making water abundant, clean, and accessible. His approach ensures that every strategy implemented is impactful, cooperative, and extends across broad networks, fostering significant and lasting change. He is the chairman of Continuum Green Energy Limited, of Sailesh and he's also the chairman for Sailesh Haribhakti and Associates Chartered Accountants. He's vice chairman of GOVEVA Consulting Private Limited. He's non-executive chairman of various companies like Akash Educational Services, Protean E-Government Technologies Limited, Planet People and Profit Consulting, etc. Other directorships includes Adani Total Gas Limited, Bajaj Electricals Limited, Future Generali India Life Insurance Company, and Future Generali Insurance Company. TVS Motors, Swiggy Limited, Bro Group, Gaja Trusty Company Limited, Synergies and Rapidu Technologies. He also serves as advisory boards of Gaja Advisors Private Limited, Global Parley, WOTR, Swiss Learning Exchange Bangalore, Aqua Craft Projects Private Limited, ITM Skills University, and board stewardship. Mr. Haribhakti in the past has engaged as a chairman for NPS Trust in 2015-17, constituted by the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, Western Indian Regional Council, ICAI, Financial Planning and Standard Boards. He has served as president for Indian Merchant Chambers, IMC, Rotary Club of Mumbai in 14-15, Institute of IIA, that stands for Institute of Internal Auditors for Bombay Chapter, Bombay Management Association. He's a member at SEBI's Committee on Disclosures and Accounting Standards and Takeover Panel, International Accounting Standards Boards, and ISB. With this, I would like to invite him over the dais to start with our first topic for the day. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir.
Very good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I must seek pardon from Charul for having exhausted her reading my biodata. At the end of it, she was out of breath. So, but you know, I've had too many years in the profession. But let me start, sir, by telling you that corporate India has taken to CSR and sustainability in a way that I find absolutely amazing. I'll just give you two instances. We were visiting a very rural, intensely difficult part of Maharashtra. We were there as the CSR committee. My practice is that I do not like to hold CSR committee meetings in Mumbai. I like to hold them at the site. So I had taken the entire committee to visit a very difficult area. And we were talking to the farmers. The big program there was enhancing the livelihood of the rural people. And the farmers said one thing which has stayed with me over all these years. They said that all we need is permission to do the work that we know we must do. They know how to build check dams. They know how to change the course of the river, to create little ponds which will give them perennial water throughout the year. They said we just need an enabling, permission-oriented environment. And they were so proud to show us the transformation that has happened because of CSR activities of corporations. Take another instance, a very small town. It's on the border of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. What we did there through the sustainability and CSR program was that we involved the entire community in transforming the town, whole town. So they started doing rainwater harvesting, made sure that every home would have a solar panel, started using vermiculture. Every home started having a plotted plant. There was not a single piece of plastic or garbage strewn in the whole town because the town made it their business to keep their Maddukarai is the name of the little town on the border, clean. And when we wanted to take the impression of how this program went down with the people, a young child stood up and said that Maddukarai is my heaven on earth. That is the way in which CSR programs, sir, that you were talking about are getting implemented. Taking the benefit of your presence, let me give you 2 or 3 suggestions. One is, let us encourage the combination of the CSR committee with the sustainability committee. They are joined at the hip, these two ideas. I would recommend that we should, through either an administrative order or through a clarification, bring these two activities in a corporation together. And I will share with you, my entire speech burden is that. I want to show the path to net zero, and I want to show how we can connect it with Schedule 7, all the enablement of CSR. I want to show you that. And therefore, I want that we should combine these two activities into one committee. अलग-अलग committee रखने का कोई मतलब नहीं रहा अभी. They synergistically work with each other. So that's my first suggestion. The second suggestion, which I made to you upstairs, but I'll make it publicly so that it gets recorded and ICAI sends it to you, is that every intern should be given a free upload of an AI that is chosen by your ministry or by the government, so that they have an empowering tool right there on their device on the day that they start their internship. It will be transformational in terms of their productivity and their ability to do something dramatic. Third suggestion I would make is that let us not worry about what qualifies as CSR or not. What is important is to make sure that the impact assessment is what is given full play to, so that people start thinking about outcomes of the kinds that I've mentioned to you, where the rural incomes go up or where the whole town becomes clean. Now, those are the impacts which, if they are propagated through all the mediums that we can bring ourselves to work on, it will have a fantastic impact on further strengthening our CSR and sustainability. India is a leader, sir. At one time in sustainability, India was the leader in the world. We were the first to commit ourselves to net zero. Whole country. We were amongst the first to make sure that every part of our economy had norms and standards which will govern what is sustainable action. So we need to bring back that leadership through this kind of sustainability action. So let me get into the meat of my presentation. And let me first thank WIRC for giving me this opportunity. I think it is an amazing sight to see a full house on a Saturday morning. And I want to compliment each and every one of you for showing your commitment to this extremely important aspect of our lives, both as citizens of the country and as professionals. So thank you first. It's amazing to see all of you here. Those who are sitting behind the curtain, please come here. There are some seats in the first row available. Please come. So it's an honor to address this fantastic gathering. 2025, in my view, is going to represent a turning point in the history of humanity. And the reason I say that is that we are on the cusp of completely transformed governments across the length and breadth of the world. Almost every major economy on the planet has new leadership with new thinking. The experimentation in government and governance that is going to happen in 2025 is going to be absolutely unprecedented. So it's a seminal year. The wars that we are seeing raging are most likely going to come to an end, either because of exhaustion. You know, what has happened in Ukraine, unfortunately, is that the male population of Ukraine has been decimated. And so they are having a collapse in population. Russia, which thought that they would walk over Ukraine in 3 weeks, is in the 4th year of the war with massive human and financial cost. Germany has lost its government, France has lost its government, all thanks to that one war. If you trace it back, that's what is driving all of this. But look at the positive side. We have technological innovation which is happening at a pace that I have not seen before. Earlier, I used to say that I become obsolete every 3 months. Now I have to say that I get obsolete every 3 days. And soon a time will come when we will get obsolete every 3 hours. Because the rate of change that is happening, every day morning I get up and I see new stuff being thrown at me from the internet, from the books that I read, from everywhere. And it's telling me that dramatic change is around us. So let me give you 3 aspects of the change that you will experience. All finance in the world will be green finance. It's a very bold statement I'm making. But think about it. If you were a banker or an advisor to any company or to a bank, would you ever advise that bank to finance a coal mine today? Or to finance a fossil fuel based power generating unit? What will you rather do? The marginal cost, the economic imperative to switch to from fossil fuel to renewables is stark. What is required to be done is to make the grid ready to absorb all the renewable power that we can produce when it is possible to produce it, and then seamlessly deliver it to the last mile, to each and every one of us through step-down transformers. So the greatest shortage in the world today is of step-down transformers to upload the power that is generated and to then download it into the last mile into our homes. That is the biggest thing that is in short today. Step-down transformers. So the thought that I would like to leave with you is that we are in a relentless era of turning everything green. So I'll give you one mantra that I hope you will remember and you will implement. There are always 3 contexts to everything and 6 lenses. So remember this, 3 contexts and 6 lenses. So what are these? The 3 contexts are, what has been your own best achievement? Compare your current performance against that. All of us think of previous year में क्या हुआ? अरे भाई previous year में तो कुछ गड़बड़ हुआ होता. Why not go back to the best year that you ever had and compare the current year with that? So number 1. 2, compare your outputs with the best achieved by anybody who is practicing a similar input-output mechanism. So your comparator has to be challenging at all times. That's your second context. And the third is, make sure that your planning is so good that the plan and the actual are as close to each other as possible. Because it is only under those circumstances that you will be able to achieve high levels of productivity. Because planning and execution have to go hand in hand. And it is very critical to make sure that all these contexts are continually alive in the CSR and the sustainability piece. And what are the 6 lenses? They are the lenses of integrated thinking. You need to optimize for 6 capitals, not 1 capital. All of us as chartered accountants think only of financial capital. But there are 5 other capitals: the physical capital, the environmental capital, the human capital, the innovation capital, and the relationship capital. These are the 5 capitals that we need to use when we are looking at the world and when we are interacting with the world. So if you have this modality of 3 contexts and 6 capitals to be enhanced, you will be doing a fantastic job in your profession, as a board member, as a consultant, whatever activity that you choose to do. Now I'm going to try and show you India's path to net zero. And what am I inspired by? I'm inspired by a very famous book that I would sort of certainly want WRC to have in your library, but I would certainly like all of you to have access to it. It's a book called Draw Down. Draw Down is a book which analyzes what is the most impactful way in which you can get to sustainability. Okay, so I'm going to share with you the 6 or 7 key ideas from that book. And I'm going to correlate it with Schedule 7 of the Companies Act so that you get a CSR context. And I'm going to correlate it with the thought processes of Jane Goodall. Those of you who have never heard of Jane Goodall, please look her up on Google right now and read whatever you can from her. She's one of the most, she's today about 85 years old, but a phenomenal personality who is completely committed to the environment and is a champion of all sustainable causes. So these are my 3 inspirations. So what is the first thing? We need to do a total renewable energy expansion. India has to go to 1,000 gigs of renewable power. The company that Charul read out, Continuum Energy, which I'm chairman of, is putting up 5 gigawatts, which is nothing compared to the need of this country. This country needs, by 2030, 1,000 gigawatts of renewable power. And we need to bring as much nuclear capacity on stream using thorium, which we have ignored for all these years. There's no need to do nuclear power only through uranium. Thorium has become an absolute alternative. And so I'm a great votary for small nuclear plants which will supply focused, very strong, high demand clusters of power and then feed into the grid to make sure that the power gets to where it is required. These efforts align with Schedule 7, which emphasizes environmental sustainability and ecological balance. So connect renewable transition to these aspects of Schedule 7. Next, building electrification and efficiency. Elon Musk said recently that everything in the world will be electrified. Everything. All our homes, all our cars, all our devices, all our equipment, everything will be electrified. And so we need massive doses of renewable energy to drive this whole electrification. It is critical. EV cars. I started using one only on 1st April. But I can tell you, you feel so good about it that you're not burning petrol or diesel or CNG. And you are working on power that you can trace back to renewable sources of generation. So go for it. Take a vow that your next vehicle will be an EV. And you'll never buy an internal combustion engine vehicle ever again. I can tell you through Adani Total Gas that we are creating an infrastructure of charging stations which will not leave you stranded if you're on a long highway journey. So that's the biggest fear. Third, and this is connected to promotion of environmental sustainability as outlined in the CSR schedule. Transforming transportation, which I have talked to you about. But the most important transformation that is required is to build the road infrastructure to the remotest rural parts of our country. And I see that happening. I was driving down the Samruddhi highway to Shirdi. What used to take me 7 hours, this time from my home to the mandir, was 4 hours. It's just incredible. And they are still sort of working on it, but what a phenomenon. But what is important is that from Samruddhi, the outflows right to the last mile village, which is going to get transformed because this road infrastructure is there, has to be done. And that's where now corporate India has to start working to make sure that the connectivity of infrastructure happens to the last mile. That will transform the cost of logistics, transform the cost of, make us competitive. So CSR is not all charity at all. When CSR is combined with sustainability and you see it holistically, it is a great business imperative. It is part of the entire strategic plan of the companies. And if you can put it in that context, then it becomes reviewable as that. On all my boards, I like to review our sustainability and CSR outcomes every quarter. And that's now possible because of digitalization. Fourth, integrate CSR with sustainable agriculture. As she read out, I'm chairman of the Watershed Trust of India, and I've seen what can happen. Desertified, sir, nothing short of a desertified area of Maharashtra. We've converted to complete green, multi-cropping. The farmer there told me that my farm is an ATM. Today I can sell products. They are so lush and so productive that he can sell, and he calls his farm an ATM. Have you ever imagined that a farmer will call his farm an ATM? That's where we can reach by integrating CSR with sustainable agriculture. That covers many items in Schedule 7: rural development, livelihood enhancement, and environmental sustainability. Reforestation and afforestation, reviving nature's lungs. Please remember that while through the Industrial Revolution and through all our desire to add to our creature comforts, in 200 years, that is called the Anthropocene era, we have destroyed our capability to breathe and our capability to have access to clean water and to clean air. And we need to reverse it. And we can. Because technology exists, the human intent exists. Otherwise, there is a grave danger. We are not trying to save the planet. You have to save yourself. The human race can become extinct. The situation is so difficult today. I can tell you from all our studies, it's not easy. The migration has already started. Mass migration. Most of the Western European problems are on account of the migration from sub-Saharan Africa. Everybody crossing the Mediterranean and just trying to get into all the advanced nations of Europe. That's what has caused the fundamental issue in Europe. It's causing homelessness in US because from the eastern part, there is a whole migration from the islands in the Pacific and from Mexico and from all the neighboring countries. The whole of Venezuela wanted to move. It's just, you have to just think about it as a massive migration problem just boiling, waiting to happen. So think about that and take action wherever you can. Get into circular economy frameworks. Zero waste. Absolutely doable. Again, I'm on the board of a company called Recycle, which is the biggest recycling enterprise in the country. This whole extended producer responsibility and the deposit return scheme, both of which are a part of the circular economy construct, need to be. So the only state in India which has got a DRS framework is Goa. Amazing that government decided to go into the DRS scheme. What it means is that every bottle of single-use plastic that enters Goa will have a QR code on it. And all you need to do is to collect that bottle, and you will get a direct, through UPI, transfer to your bank account of the deposit. So what happens is that bottle is preserved for reuse, and it is reused 6 times. It's reusable 6 times. What we are doing is we are throwing it away into landfills. Landfills are full. There's no place in the landfills. There's methane coming out of landfills. And we need to stop that. And the way to do it is to make sure that we get into heavily these circular economy constructs. So support that wherever you can. So fund STEM education. It's so important. I can't tell you, I stopped studying science in 8th standard. At age 63, I went into deep re-education myself. I taught myself physics, chemistry, and biology. And I did a 6-month intensive course to relearn all the ideas of sustainability which I am today able to share with you. By intense self-study. Each one of us has that opportunity, but please support STEM education. The connect between mathematics, physics, biology, and chemistry now and cosmology is all so important. It's changing the world. All the world-changing technologies are at the cusp of all of these converging exponential technologies. So focus on education, skill development, and technology promotion, which is also reflected in the CSR schedule. Coastal resolution and the blue economy. We need to start thinking about our coastlines. Mumbai has an eastern coastline, which is to my mind, at least $100 billion opportunity. $100 billion US opportunity. We did some work on that many years ago, but that's what it is. And everywhere that I turn, I can see that transformation is possible at the coastal, to create coastal resilience. Because once the water starts rising on account of the change in the currents of our ocean, and we see the seas rising, we're going to have hell to pay. Mumbai will have hell to pay. Green finance, I've already talked about. All finance will turn green. Align all corporate investments to green funding and green finance. Create a cooperative global effort. COP29, all of us, and I include us in the developing nation, were shouting that $300 billion is not enough. And what I say is that every commitment, every investment has to be seen in the 3 contexts and the 6 lenses. And if everybody wears those, then it will not seem like a small amount to commit $300 billion. So, to my mind, COP29 was a success in Baku. To my mind, the conference in Busan, which just finished in November on plastics, is a success. Because the attention of the human race has been focused again. Do you know that in the deepest trench in the ocean, they have found plastic? Deepest trench, which is accessible only by very sophisticated submarines. They found plastic. My heart broke when I saw that picture. And I have seen images because of our collaboration with the ocean cleanup of sea life being strangulated by plastic negligently thrown into the oceans from ships and coming down from the rivers, where all the people, humanity living on the river side, thinks that their home should be clean. Where do they throw the garbage? They throw it in the river. The river carries it to the ocean. The ocean kills the sea life. I'm seeing this. This is a video that all of us must watch. And it'll break your heart, and hopefully it will make you, gird you into real action. Make sure. India's strategic CSR advantages are many. I've talked about them. Sir outlined the quantum of funds, 1.84 lakh crores. It's nothing. Much more is being spent, and much more will be spent, because every spend will now have to be towards greening our planet and saving humanity. So, what is my prediction 2025 and beyond? India will emerge as a leader in CSR innovation. That's my first prediction. CSR will drive digital public goods. As she mentioned, I'm chairman of a company called Protean, where we are the foremost company in India in the business of digital public infrastructure creation. We created the Tax Information Network, we created the CRA for the NPS, and many other digital public infrastructure pieces. That's where India has a big chance to become a global leader. And riding on this infrastructure will be digital public goods, which all of us can enjoy. Corporate trust and investor confidence will grow. CSR-backed green initiatives will position India as a global leader in climate action. And 5, India's CSR ecosystem will contribute significantly to GDP growth. This is very important. I say we must do well by doing good. And I see a clear correlation between doing good and doing well. CSR is not a cost. Sustainability is not a cost. It is acting strategically out of a business imperative, which should be the paradigm that all of us should hold in our heads. So, ladies and gentlemen, my call to action to all of you is, let us commit to a vision where businesses are not just participants but leaders in creating a world where economic progress and environmental stewardship go hand in hand. Together, we can build a legacy of innovation, sustainability, and hope, one that future generations will celebrate. Thank you very much.
That was very lovely, sir, to give us the insights on how you are actually. It was beautiful session wherein how you have connected the sustainability of future. It's not only finance, but it starts with nature. And how are your initiatives being running through multiple companies, wherein we have been given acknowledgement of, okay, these companies are doing well, and that's how we can help, the members can help their companies to flow through the same route, and we all can achieve that. Thank you so much, sir. It was lovely to have you over the dice. Please give him a round of applause. Sir, I missed to present the memento at the beginning of the session, which our ICI does. Please, sir, we would like to present a memento to you. So I think we have some time. If you have the audience have certain questions they want to have it with Mr. Sailesh Haribhakti and Shri Santosh Kumar ji, we can take your questions and probably make it a more interactive session for this. Do we have any questions? I think there is someone at the back. Okay, can we arrange a mic for arrange a mic? Actually, many, I think, institute members have also requested you all, who all are sitting back, you all can just come ahead. There are few vacant chairs at the front. Backbencher ही सबको बनना है. एक्चुअली सर आपका क्वेश्चन इनको ले ठीक है, आप ले लीजिए सर, बाद में आप ले लीजिएगा. सर आप प्लीज आगे आ जाइए, आपको हम आगे माइक दे देंगे.
Hello, Haribhakti ji. Thank you very much for giving a beautiful insight to the whole world of CSR being used for not charity but for improving the business. I request you, can you throw some light? There is a strong potential all over India. There are many temples having lakhs of acres of lands which are donated to them by the devotees. Those lands are not really used to its full potentials. Can there be...
What a fantastic idea that you are, and this is one of my favorite themes.
Thank you,
Our
sir.
temples have temples and all places of worship. Why just temples? All our places of worship are endowed with land, with property, with money. It is not the purpose of a temple trust to put money away on deposit
Yeah.
with a bank
Yes.
or to do some silly investments. They need to enhance the goodwill and the good outcomes for the entire community around the temple. That is the new way for temple trusts to start seeing themselves in a completely different light. And I'm pushing this in a small way, in a small temple trust with which I am involved. We want to do education. We want to, whoever comes to the temple and is not had a meal will get a meal. And wherever it is possible to redistribute clothes, circular economy concept, the temple must do it. It must become a place where the community sees benefit coming to it. It is so critical. The land, my God, there's so much land that can be used for multi-cropping.
Yeah.
The GVT trust that I sit on, we have raised farmer incomes by 6 to 10x simply by multi-cropping and giving them scientific inputs for agriculture. The quality of fruit, India has the lowest per capita fruit cover in the whole world. We have to grow our fruit cover to 100x to reach where China is today. That's where we are. So, putting this land to better use is the most sensible idea. Please propagate it. Please send it out. All the trustees of all these temples, mosques, churches must start thinking differently. That the benefit of the community is what they are supposed to deliver. Not keep that money in bank accounts. Doesn't make any sense to me.
So
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Can we bring in big corporates to join hands with trusts to do this use?
Absolutely they will. That's the best way, collaboration. At ACC, our goal was that our CSR spend will be 10x in order that big impact happens. And how did we get that 10x? By getting other corporates to join us in the same program. So
Thank
why
you.
not a temple and or a mosque and a CSR committee working together? Why not?
So with MCA, if we can involve charity commissioners of various states and
Well,
get
that
this.
we have to turn to sir to advocate.
Thank you, sir.
We had one more question from him, sir. यहाँ पे. Meanwhile, you all also can think. I think there are